Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know, we love digging into the stuff that makes your houses feel like homes, and today we are tackling home improvement head on.
It's such a perfect topic for this time of year, right? I feel like everyone's getting that itch to refresh their space as the weather cools down.
Absolutely. And luckily for us, we've got a ton of great info to cover, from DIY tricks to design inspiration. We'll even touch on a little gardening. So whether you're planning a full-on reno or just looking for some easy wins, get ready for some serious inspiration.
I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. And one of the things I loved most about the material we're looking at today is this real emphasis on making DIY accessible, no matter your skill level.
Oh, I love that. Everyone should feel empowered to tackle projects around the house, no matter their experience.
Exactly, which is music to my ears because, remember that bookshelf fiasco I told you about?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this whole section on how much of an impact something as simple as custom shelving can have is giving me hope for round two.
And what's great about shelving is that it's so versatile. We're talking functionality A&D style all in one.
Totally. It's like instant organization, but it can also be a major design element.
Right. Think about it. You could have these rustic, reclaimed barnwood shelves stacked with vintage books for a cozy farmhouse vibe.
Oh, I love that.
Or for a more modern art display, picture sleek, black metal shelves with those minimalist brackets. Just the materials alone completely change the feel.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's all about making it your own. Now, while we're on the DIY tip, I got to admit, painting always makes me a little nervous. I mean, I'm all for a good accent wall, but that one time I tried to get fancy with the two-tone effect.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say I learned the hard way that some things are best left to the professionals.
Oh, I feel you. We've all been there. I'm much better at choosing paint colors than I am at actually applying them.
Right.
One thing I did find really helpful in the research was this tip about choosing the right paint finish, which, it seems obvious, but
It makes such a difference.
it really does. Like a high gloss finish might be great for a bathroom because it's easier to wipe clean. But if you're going for that cozy bedroom vibe, a matte is definitely the way to go.
It's those little details that make all the difference. Honestly, I wish I had known some of this stuff sooner. Have you ever repainted a room and been amazed by how much it transformed the whole feeling?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredible how much of an impact color can have on the overall mood of a space. Just changing the paint can make it feel like a brand new room.
Totally. And speaking of a room's overall feel, let's transition to home design more broadly. I was really struck by how much our source emphasized finding that balance between style and function, which I think is key.
It's so important. A beautiful home that isn't functional isn't really a home, you know? And on the flip side, a purely functional space can feel kind of sterile.
It's about finding that sweet spot where everything looks great, but also works for your life. And on that note, I wanted to get your take on a trend that's been on my mind a lot lately. Open concept living. I mean, who doesn't love a good open floor plan? But I have to admit, it got me thinking, when did this whole trend really take off?
That's a great question. And you're right, open concept is everywhere these days. It seems like every home renovation show features at least one wall being knocked down.
Right.
But to answer your question, the concept actually gained traction back in the mid-20th century. After World War II, there was this move away from those more formal, divided Victorian-style homes, and people started embracing a more casual, connected style of living.
That makes sense. It's all about connecting spaces, connecting people.
Exactly. And that idea really took hold during that post-war period, especially with more and more families moving to the suburbs where they actually had the space for these bigger, more fluid layouts that were ideal for, entertaining an everyday life.
So interesting how our homes reflect those broader societal shifts. But of course, fast forward to today, an open concept is as relevant as ever, especially with more people working from home and needing that flexibility.
For sure. Your living room might double as an office, or your dining room table might turn into a classroom depending on the day.
Exactly. That adaptability is so key. But of course, not everyone has a sprawling open floor plan to work with, which is why I was also super into the fact that our source gave some awesome advice on making the most of smaller spaces too.
Absolutely. You don't need a mansion to have a stylish and functional home. Sometimes the most creative solutions come from working within constraints.
So true. Were there any tips that stood out to you?
Well, this might seem basic, but honestly, one of the simplest yet most effective strategies for smaller spaces, mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
I used to live in this teeny tiny city apartment, and strategically placed mirrors instantly made the space feel so much bigger and brighter.
That's amazing what a little visual trickery can do. I love that.
It's all about playing with light and perception.
Speaking of playing with perception, let's shift gears to something that can really transform the feel of a space. Bringing the outdoors in. I don't know about you, but I am a huge fan of incorporating a little greenery.
Oh, me too.
There's just something about having plants and fresh herbs around that just makes a house feel more like a home, you know?
Absolutely. And it's not just about the aesthetics. There's a growing body of research showing that being surrounded by nature, even indoors, has all sorts of benefits.
Really? Like what?
Well, studies have shown that it can actually help to reduce stress levels, which I think we can all get
For
behind.
sure.
And it can even boost your mood and creativity.
That's amazing.
It's true. Plus, plants can help to improve air quality, which is a nice bonus.
It's incredible how much of an impact it can have. And speaking of impact, for those of us who haven't quite mastered the art of, well, keeping plants alive,
This struggle is real.
right, myself included. So the source had some great advice for beginners. They recommended starting with low-maintenance options, like succulents or snake plants. Have you ever had those?
Oh, absolutely. Those are classics for a reason. They're super hardy, and they actually thrive in dry conditions.
So you don't have to water them all the time.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
is perfect for people like me who don't exactly have a green thumb or who, maybe travel a lot or have a busy schedule.
It's like they were designed for modern life.
Yeah.
And on that note of making the most of what you've got, the source also had a whole section on vertical gardening, which I thought was super cool.
Oh, yeah. Vertical gardening is great, especially for smaller homes or apartments where you might not have a ton of floor space.
Right. It's like a whole other dimension of gardening possibilities opens up. I mean, wall-mounted planters, hanging baskets.
And you can get really creative with it too. Think repurposed shelves, old ladders, even pallets can be transformed into these amazing vertical gardens. You could grow herbs, vegetables, flowers.
Talk about resourcefulness and like fresh ingredients right at your fingertips.
Exactly.
It's amazing. And, it really ties back to what we were saying earlier about personalizing your space.
Yeah.
It's not just about following trends. It's about making your home a reflection of your own creativity and your own, like, ingenuity.
I love that.
So as you're listening, imagine this. It's a sunny windowsill in your kitchen. There's a gentle breeze flowing through, and you've got all these fresh herbs right there. Could you picture yourself adding a touch of green to your own space? It really is amazing what a difference a little bit of nature can make. And, it kind of gets to the heart of what I find so inspiring about home improvement. It's not about, like, reaching some picture-perfect end result.
Right.
It's more about this ongoing process. It's about constantly adapting and evolving your space so it really works for you and your style.
100%. I always say it's a journey, not a destination.
Yes, perfectly said. It's not about perfection. It's about making it your own. One project, one plant at a time.
Exactly. And ultimately, your home should be a reflection of you, your experiences, the things you love.
It's so true. And that's what makes it so exciting. It's not about blindly following trends. It's about really putting your own stamp on things and, like, infusing your personality into every corner.
Yes. Make it your own.
Exactly. So as you continue on your home improvement journey, I want to leave you with this thought. What does your ideal living space really say about you? What kind of story do you want your home to tell?
That's a great question to think about.
Right. All right. Well, on that note, we'll let you get to it. Happy home improving, everyone.